everything was possible, anything was possible, and we just did it, you know? I mean, if you were going to start a shop selling things from overseas, what would you call it? EveryLittle Body. So nobody knew what it was we were selling. Good start. Secondly, where would you put your shop? Well, how about in the Resistance Bookshop, which was at 154 Willow Street on the second floor, without any signs outside saying it was actually a shop upstairs. And then for anybody who did manage to sort of accidentally find out where we were and climb up the stairs to where we were, across the corridor from us was the Marxist-Leninist bookshop, and next to them was the Trotskyists. And they were always arguing.
Initially, we saw ourselves selling to established shops, but somewhat unexpectedly, there were groups like EveryLittle Body that required product. And so they were driven, and by 1974, 50% of the sales were to such shops, and so the movement grew.
We did actually move to a shop at street level. How about that? Woo! And there we had the man with the foot fetish.
Ron O'Grady from the National Council of Churches, who'd been our sponsors in India, and I got together a group of people, and as Bob Considine put it, on one side of the table, committed, respected, skilled city business people, and on the other side, wild, wide-eyed, idealistic, well-travelled revolutionaries pumped full of liberation theology. It was a creative tension.
Although we did actually now have quite a good retail position, we managed to compromise it immediately by putting up a poster in the entrance to the shop saying, "Your cat probably gets more protein than most of the people in the third world." So if you weren't put off by that, you might actually come into the shop. Diane tells me that, reminded me that we sold, how much was it, Diane? $90 on Christmas Eve. We were doing really
I'd like to acknowledge Paul Barber. You've actually worked really, really hard to get us to be a fair trade city, and also to sort of work on a whole lot of organisational and promotional issues, and the council hasn't always been that easy to deal with, sorry. But I'd also like to acknowledge how once upon a time business was a dirty word, and the work that Trade Aid and Fairtrade have done to make it possible to have sustainable business, to make it respectable and admirable to make a profit, as long as you don't stuff up other people's lives and other species' lives.
Long before we knew anything about fair trade logos or certification or any of those things, we knew about fair trade in New Zealand because we had Trade Aid, and they taught us long before anybody else knew about it. So I really want to congratulate Richard and Vi and all those who have made the Trade Aid movement the loved and respected and hugely inspirational organisation it is, and thank you to all of you for being a part of it. Kia ora. changing the world, actually. And that's, you know, that is totally what we were on about. It's what Richard and Vi were on about. It's what so many of us were on about in those days. And, you know, some of us still are.